there, Gary Parrish. Welcome back to the CBS Sports Eye on College Basketball podcast, where we sometimes discuss camel fighting dodo birds and leaky black. Matt Norlander is here with me. If you're watching on YouTube, smash the like button like you're Brandon Davies. You have consent. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the CBS Sports College Basketball YouTube channel, please do that while you're here. Let's get into it. Today we are continuing our Summer Shootaround series that we're going to be doing over a 7-week span. We've already published episodes on Arizona, Arkansas, Baylor, Connecticut, Creighton, Duke, Florida Atlantic, Gonzaga, Houston, Kansas, Kentucky, and Marquette. We're working in alphabetical order. That brings us to Miami. Hurricanes were 29-8 last season, went 15-5 in the ACC, shared the league title with Virginia, lost to Duke in the ACC tournament, then got a 5 seed in the NCAA tournament, beat Drake in the round of 64 and thus eliminated the first university ever named after a hip-hop artist. That was something. Then in the round of 32, Miami beat Indiana by 16 points? 85-69? Whew. Ruined the internet.
There. Yeah, I was there.
Sweet 16. Hurricanes ended Houston's season. In the Elite Eight, ended Texas's season. And then Miami lost, once advancing to the Final Four, to UConn, 72-59. Top 2 scores from that team, they're gone. But Nigel Pack is back. Norshad Omier is back. Wooga Poplar is back. And Miami enrolled Florida State transfer Matthew Cleveland. That's why I've got the Hurricanes ranked 10th in the top 25 and 1. We'll see what Norlander thinks about that next. But first, a word from our partners.
It's time. The best Transformers yet.
There you go.
Is now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is going to be fun, man. Now let's talk to your manifestation.
Transformers: Rise of the Beast. Rated PG-13. Now streaming on Paramount Plus.
All right, Deadleg, before we get into Miami, update folks on what's going on with the bonus episode situation. Did somebody screw something up again? Somebody screw it up again?
Well, I guess it's all a matter of perspective. So for those that have been keeping track with the Summer Shootaround, a couple weeks back, we told you there was the auction for the bonus episode, but we also promised you bidding into August. So the way that this was set up was that it was done on eBay, and eBay, the bidding, if you put in if you want to bid on something that has live bidding on it, that doesn't have a predetermined price, 10 days is the max. So we have backed ourselves into 2 bonus episodes for this year and this year only. We have a winner of the first one. That winner is in the books. Nada, can you inform the listeners and Gary Parrish?
Yeah, I don't have any idea.
Who won the first bonus episode?
That would be the great fan base of the Oklahoma Sooners that bid almost, I want to say $550 for this episode.
Oklahoma Sooners. All right.
So the Oklahoma Sooners.
Oh, somebody's got that SEC money now, I see.
I guess so. So the Oklahoma Sooners are getting one, but it's not just the Oklahoma Sooners. We are having our second one as promised. Now, this episode is going live on Monday, August 14th. So as I previously promised you, the bidding for the second one will end on August 25th. It will be live on eBay from August 15th to the 25th. Now, the catch is this. You got to bid north of $500 to even get yourself into this. We are raising money for St. Jude, a charity and a hospital that GP is all too familiar with. In fact, he did work with them just this past week where the FedEx Cup for the PGA Tour took place. St. Jude, obviously based in Greater Memphis. And so we want to continue to raise as much money as possible. We would love to have one more bonus episode and talk about your team. If you would like to have an episode dedicated to your team, be sure to continue to bid. And then the winning bidder on August 25th will be alerted and you will have your bonus episode as well. But your opening bid, you got to rally some buddies. Okay. Right. Rally some guys and gals. Get that north of $550. We'll see if we can bring in a total of at least $1,500 for St. Jude. That would be awesome. Oklahoma, your fan base is taking care of it. We'll take care of you later this month, and we'll have one more. Again, the auction, the links for that will be in this episode and every Summer Shootaround until the bidding is done. We'll publish it on and promote it on social media. Oklahoma's in. Next school could be any of the other ones. You can be from the smallest conference or one of the big league programs we haven't talked about yet. Rally your friends, Get it done. We look forward to talking about you.
I'll do a JUCO episode.
I don't know if you will. And
I will
do
do a JUCO episode.
We're sticking to Division I. That's the caveat.
If a junior college wants to step up, if you out there, if you want to rep Itawamba Community College,
all right,
bring me Itawamba Community College.
All right. Well, the man said it, so I guess it's now a thing.
All right, Deadleg. Miami as a preseason top 10 team. Are you a believer? Or to quote Frank Ocean, are you a non-believer who don't believe in anything?
Again, the extremes here. I'm more
running out of words. I'm reduced to having to quote Frank Ocean at this point. Okay. Running out of words. I've used all the words I know.
I could have said Miami is a preseason top 10 team. Do you yeah, I can't think of anything right now.
You see, you ain't so smart either. You ain't so smart either.
I gotta think of the words.
It's hard. It's harder than you think coming up with words.
Do you appreciate it or do you abhor it? Something like that.
I've already done that.
Did you?
Yes.
Both? Okay.
Yes. You run out of words pretty quickly.
I'll think of some. Miami's a top 10 team. It's tough. Losing a couple of really good players there. Jordan Miller, one of the better wings in the country last season. And then Isaiah Wong, a tremendous lead guard, big-time veteran presence. I mean, you're losing 31 and change per game from a scoring perspective right there. But they're going to have a good shot because the Cleveland edition, I think, and Larinaga has been a bit of a master of the portal, as we detailed earlier this year on the podcast when they made their Final Four run. I wrote about this for CBSSports.com. Larinaga has had, 3 starters that have been transfers that have been impact players at Miami in multiple seasons. And the fact that he's done this, as a quick reminder, Larinaga, who's now entering his 38th season as a head coach, it's nearly 730 wins. He has done this at Bowling Green, George Mason, Miami. Not easy places to get it done. And we talked earlier this year about how he really has a Hall of Fame case, maybe as strong of a Hall of Fame case as any coach that doesn't have a national championship that's out there. I mean, it really is just because when you look at the ACC in general, all right, Tony Bennett's the best coach in the league. I think he'd win that, but it's Larinaga's number 2 at this point in that league. I don't, given what he's accomplished, all he's done, how he's done it, I don't think there's an argument against it. And this school was, railroaded and sideswiped by the FBI investigation, which eventually it was completely exonerated from, but it still knocked out Miami's ability to recruit for basically a year and a half. It previously had players like Bruce Brown, Lonnie Walker on its roster, and was making regular trips to the NCAA tournament. And then, there was a 3-year dip into irrelevance. And then lo and behold, look up, Miami has, Larinaga, man, he's a fighter. He's a survivor. Don't let those grandpa vibes steer you awry, GP. I mean, he just seems to continue to get it done. This team won 29 games last season, was a top 10 offense in the country, and had, the year before, of course, it made the Elite 8. Now, it did it from the 10 line, but nevertheless, it made the Elite 8, and now he's trying to make 3 straight NCAA tournaments again, which he lasted from 16 to 18. Again, the FBI fallout led to some real tough times here, but all credit to Larinaga and his staff for what they've been able to do. It is extremely impressive, and there's really not many reasons to bet against Miami being a top 20 level kind of team yet again. I do like their chances to compete for an ACC title. I do like their chances to get another healthy NCAA tournament seed. I do like their chances to be a factor in March. Ask them to make a 3rd straight Elite 8. I mean, obviously that rare is the team that can do that. I don't know if they will be able to pull it off or not, but big picture overall, Miami is fortunate to have Larinaga, and fortunate that he has not decided to retire. I mean, he's in his mid-70s, but he went on the record with me earlier this year. He says he's nowhere close to retiring, so this is not a farewell tour by any means. He thinks he's got at least 2 or 3 more years left in him, and because of that, Miami is a nationally relevant program.
It's year 13 at Miami for Jim. 73, turns 74 next in October, rather. I don't think anybody expected him to do 13 seasons at Miami.
Not one human, except maybe Jim Larinaga. Not one human.
Except for maybe Jim.
Yeah.
But not only is he there in year 13, he's got this thing rocking and rolling. He's made 6 of the past 10 NCAA tournaments. Like you mentioned, each of the past 2 Elite Eights. Of course, took George Mason to the Final Four in 2006, Miami to the Final Four in 2023. It's trivia time.
Okay.
Exactly 17 people have led multiple schools to the men's Final Four. Let's see how many you can get before you miss 3 times.
So it's like 20 to 23 minutes. 17. All right, say it again.
17.
Yep.
Exactly 17 people have led multiple schools to the men's Final Four. How many can you get before you miss 3?
Before I miss 3.
Yeah, because you're gonna miss.
That's fine.
I'm gonna go ahead and give you.
Okay. Pitino.
Rick Pitino has taken 3 different schools to the Final
Sampson.
Four. Kelvin Sampson has taken 2, Houston and Oklahoma.
Hold on. Okay, so Pitino, Sampson. I'm thinking about current coaches that have done it. Who else is current that has done it with multiple schools? Bob Huggins is not current, but he did it.
Huggs took Cincinnati and West Virginia.
Cal.
John Calipari has taken UMass, Memphis, and Kentucky.
We're putting Larinaga in that conversation, obviously.
I'm trying to look. Are there any more? That's it for the current head coaches.
Is it really? So, that's for sure. That's it. Okay.
Calipari, Larinaga, Pitino, Kelvin.
Okay. All right. Before I miss 3 of them. Okay. Let me see here. Multiple schools. Did Hank Iba take multiple, or did he just go there with Oklahoma State?
Hank Iba's a 1-school man.
Okay. Obviously, Roy Williams is in that conversation.
Roy Williams took Kansas 4 times and North Carolina 5 times. Another Kansas
Lon
coach.
Lon
Kruger took Florida and Oklahoma. You're doing okay, Deadleg.
How about who else am I missing here?
There's another former Kansas coach on the list.
Larry Brown.
Larry Brown took UCLA and Kansas. There is another UCLA coach on the list.
What UCLA coach?
No.
Hold on.
I think you could only get 2 more.
Really? Okay. Another. I can only get 2 more. It's a good trivia time.
I didn't even know some of these people. I didn't even recognize their names. Some of them, at least one of them. Give up if you've run out of words.
Nah. On Haskins?
Not it. No.
Bartow?
Gene Bartow.
Okay, that's the UCLA
Memphis
coach.
And UCLA.
And there's one more you think I can get?
I think there are at least 3 more where when I say the name, you'll go, oh, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe more than that. There's some here you will not know, and there's some here that you'll go, oh, well, yeah, of course. Why didn't I think of that?
Multiple. Trying to scan, like, any go in the 90s?
Yeah.
One
of these guys won a national championship in the 90s.
All right, let me talk through this real quick. Tark did not go with 2 different programs unless I'm completely mistaken, and he took, like, Long Beach. I don't think Tark's on that list.
Tark's not on the list.
Then you've got K in 91 and 92. You have got Dean Smith in 93. He didn't go with schools. You've got Nolan. He didn't go. 95. You've got Jim Herrick did not go with multiple schools. 96. You have Patino. 97, you have Lute. Did Lute take Iowa in 80? Lute Olson?
That is correct.
Okay.
Lute Olson is on the list. Iowa took Iowa once and Arizona 4 times.
Okay, 98 is Tubby Smith, but Tubby only went with Kentucky, and
That's
then
right.
99 is Calhoun, he only went with UConn. Okay.
Another guy who went, this would have been early 2000s to the Final Four.
2000s. Oh, so it's 2000. You got Izzo, Donovan, Mike Monk. That's Stanford. Yeah. Early 2000s. You've got Gary Williams didn't do it. Lute's still at Arizona. 03, you've got Boeheim. You've got Barnes. You've got Roy. Who am I missing here from this group? I don't know. Give it up.
Eddie Sutton took Arkansas.
Come on, man.
And Oklahoma State. The others on the
04.
list.
Gosh, I cut myself off at 03. I hate it.
Hugh Durham took Florida State and Georgia. Jack Gardner took Kansas State and Utah.
I almost was going to ask if there was a Kansas State coach on there because I knew there was a K-State went, but I wouldn't have gotten his name.
Lou Henson took New Mexico State and
I
Illinois.
almost said Lou Henson.
Frank McGuire took St. John's and North Carolina. Lee Rose. Where did Lee Rose coach?
He's running the Knicks, man.
Charlotte and Purdue. He took both of them to the Final Four. Is Lee Rose the greatest coach ever? How did he do that?
I have no idea.
How did Lee Rose do that? And the great 40 Anderson. Do you know 40 Anderson?
No,
Pat 40 Anderson?
I know his older brother, 50. Yeah.
Pat 40 Anderson took Bradley and Michigan State to the Final Four.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Can we get back to the team at hand here?
I guess we can.
Wooga Poplar. First of all, top 5 name in the sport. Going to be a
Great name.
breakout guy. Supreme this season, man. Look out, Wooga Poplar. That's your dark horse, like second team all ACC player, in my opinion. He's going to be a big time player. Nigel Pack. I think there'll be an expectation that he's going to jump from 14 a game to north of 15 or 16. I think that's reasonable considering losing Wong and Miller. Matthew Cleveland, he's been a good college player, but former highly rated prospect, and I would argue he has not had his big year. And then Norshad Omier is just, he is a beast. He is a beast. He is going to ensure that Miami continues to be one of the better rebounding teams in the country there. And because he returns, that's why I think Miami, because of his size and his just relentlessness. I mean, he's a problem. He's a matchup problem. And if he is able to expand his game, then look out all the more. Those are the big names to know. And it's why Miami should again be a factor, probably a top 3 team in the ACC. And they've got some more guys coming in, but I don't know if this team will be super deep, but I do like the returning pieces. And they've also got a guy coming in from Switzerland named Kaishan George, who apparently is expected to be a pretty impactful shooter. Not a known name now, but we could look up in January, and he's actually contributing more and helping round out this team.
If we're saying the 1, 2, 3 is Nigel Pack, Bensley Joseph, Wooga Poplar, those 3 guys all shot above 37% from 3 last season. That's among the reasons Miami was able to shoot 36.8% as a team from 3, and that ranked 34th nationally. It's a big reason why Miami had, in terms of adjusted offensive efficiency, Miami ranked 6th in the country. Great offensive team last season, 6th in adjusted offensive efficiency according to KenPom. And then Norshad Omier is terrific. One of the best rebounders in the country. He finished 17th in offensive rebounding percentage in the country, 30th in defensive rebounding percentage. He had a 17 rebound game against Indiana in the NCAA tournament, 13 rebound game against Houston in the NCAA tournament. He's now averaged double digits in rebounds in 3 straight years. First 2 years were at Arkansas State. So he's fabulous. Like if you told me as we talked about on a previous episode, there's so many good bigs that, you can just get pushed off of an All-American team because, can't have all of you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you told me he emerges as a first team or second team All-American, that wouldn't be crazy to me. He's fabulous. And then Matthew Cleveland, he's a former 5-star guy. He averaged 14 points last season at Florida State. Florida State wasn't good, but This is a former 5-star prospect who at one point was projected as a future first-round draft pick. So, they've got real players again. They've got experience. I think Nigel Pack should be better than ever, and he shot above 40% from three last season on more than 6 attempts per game, averaged 13.6 points with Wong out of there. That probably frees up more shots for him. He'll be above 15 points per game, I would bet on. This is going to be, one of the best teams in the country and a team that's got a chance to win another ACC title. Obviously, Duke is the pick for most people in the ACC. I've got Duke 3rd in the top 25 and 1, Miami 10th, then North Carolina 23rd. But I will say I did, because I always do before we do any of these, go check the preseason rankings over at barttorvik.com because they're available now. You know where they have Miami? You know where Torvik's got Miami?
You saying that makes me think it's low, so I'll say 25.
50th.
50th?
50th.
50th.
14 spots behind Clemson.
Oh, gosh. Wow.
What's going on with Torvik? Is his computer broken?
Has hated Miami since 2007. Everyone
Looks
knows.
like he hates Miami.
Wow. How about that? Okay. Well, I think some of the question, I don't know if this would be the reason, but who's going to run the offense? Who's the primary playmaker? I mean, I'm guessing it's Bensley Joseph, I'm guessing, but unproven there. And so who will be the head of the snake when it comes to that? I think that's a reasonable question to have. Nigel Pack can handle the ball as well, but he's not going to be a primary distributor. Like, that's just not what he's going to be seeking to do. So I think some questions are there with that, but they fill out a lot of the other stuff. But 50th is like obscenely low. That's a shocker.
That's like not even an NCAA tournament team.
It's not in those projections. We'll see.
The ACC projections are interesting.
Okay.
In the sense that you've got Duke at 5. This is according to Bart Torvik. Duke at 5, Carolina at 15, Clemson at 36, Miami at 50, and then on it goes.
Jeez.
Notre Dame at 226.
There's just not going to be. Mike is going to have a rough go of it.
There is no other league that has somebody as high as 5 or anywhere close to as low as 226. Like, if you go highest, lowest in the power conferences, in the Big 12, Kansas at 2, lowest, UCF at 101. In the Big 10, the highest, Purdue at 1. Penn State, 147 is the lowest. Big East, UConn at 3 is the highest. Georgetown at 149 is the lowest. Pac-12, USC at 9 is the highest. Oregon State at 184 is the lowest. SEC, Tennessee at 6 is the highest. South Carolina at 109 is the lowest. And then in the ACC, Duke at 5 is the highest. Notre Dame at 226 is the lowest.
That's quite the span there. 50 though for Miami. Mark it down. We'll see where they are in Ken Palm. I'll say the Canes are. Although the Canes despite their good record, they were not treated well by the predictive metrics last season. So I don't even think Miami finished top 20 despite making the Final Four. So that might be their fate again. Also, when Ken Palm comes out in October. Let's look at this schedule here. Regular season over under win totals. Miami's going to have a couple of bye games to start. It's got UCF at home in early November. The lowest ranked team in the Big 12 per Torvik, as GP just said. They're going to play in the Baha Mar Classic. They have Georgia, and we'll see what Georgia is this season. And then they will either play Kansas State or Providence, which is Jim Larenega's alma mater, will be the second game there. But so the second game theoretically should be tougher than the first, although we'll see. They've got at Kentucky in the ACC SEC Challenge, a few more bye games. They also play Colorado at the Barclays Center. So the games of note.
I can't wait for Miami, Colorado, and Brooklyn.
So the games of note, at least against high major teams. UCF, that's going to be in Coral Gables. They play Georgia and then either Kansas State or Providence. They're at Kentucky. They're against Colorado in a game at the Barclays Center that Parrish will be attending in person. And then I think they've got 3 more bye games to wrap up the non-con. In the ACC, they are home and away against FSU, Virginia Tech, Boston College, Clemson, North Carolina, and then Notre Dame, probably the worst team in that league this season. They are home only against Duke. That's a benefit. Georgia Tech, auto win. Louisville, likely win. Pitt, likely win. Only on the road against NC State. Syracuse, Virginia, Wake Forest. Miami's got an intriguing looking schedule. I'm not saying it's the most difficult because it's not. I actually think it could position itself to be, if the ACC is down again this season, Miami could get into a situation where it didn't quite schedule quite aggressively enough to help its seeding situation. That being said, the Hurricanes last season entered the ACC tournament with 24 wins. I am going to put the over-under GP at 23.5 regular season wins for the Canes.
2 non-league losses. You know how I feel about that.
You love the 2 non-leaguers.
2 non-league losses. I'll go 5 league losses. That's 7 before the ACC tournament. 31 minus 7, 24. I'm over. I'm flying over.
Like Henry the Ibis?
Me, Dan Hurley, Jim Larinaga, Dusty May, all kicking it to Final Four.
Can an Ibis fly?
Celebrating our overs.
Can an Ibis fly? I actually don't know the answer to that.
Can a what fly?
An Ibis. That's the mascot for the Hurricanes, the Ibis.
What?
Yeah, you see, you're not up on your birds. That's the problem.
I know peacocks.
You came unprepared with your birds.
I know peacocks.
You don't know your Ibis. The plural of Ibis?
I buy.
Ibis.
What the?
Plural of Ibis is Ibis. Or Ibises. I think both work. Anyway, you went 24-7. That non-con isn't good. Or it's not great. It's not terrible, I guess. But I think I'm kind of with you on this. 2 non-league losses. I think one is on the table, but I will say 2 non-league losses. Then I'll say they lose at Carolina. That's the 3rd loss. I'll say they lose at Clemson, 4th loss. They'll lose at Virginia, 5th loss. Mark one more down, either Virginia Tech or NC State. So that's 6 losses, and then they get picked off. They get picked off at home. No, they lose at Wake. So 7 losses. We're the same again. 24 wins. Yeah, 24-24. I didn't want it to be this way, GP, but I got the Hurricanes with going into the ACC tournament. 24-7.
Trivia time. I'm just kidding.
Let's go.
Shouts to Devin Dowdy. Shouts to Chester, South Carolina. Shouts to Huck. Shouts to Larnell. Shouts to Brooklyn.
Nada says all ibises can fly.
Yeah, I'm skeptical.
Okay.
I'm skeptical. There's got to be one out there that can't.
I'm sure there's an injured one, yes.
Yeah,
he's as a species, generally speaking, they can take to the air.
Yeah,
which means you were soaring over the over like an ibis. There you go.
Soaring like an ibis, like an able-bodied ibis.
Did I call him? By the way, this is real-time corrections. I think I called the Miami mascot. Did I call him Henry the Ibis? I know it's Sebastian. I think I called him Henry. I have no idea why.
I can't speak to that.
I think I did.
I only know that Notre Dame is 226.
It's definitely Sebastian.
The only thing I know is
my
that
apologies
Notre Dame is 226
if indeed that happened. I did it internally. I know that. If I said it out loud, my apologies. Correction, Sebastian. There you go. Let's go.
Thank you guys for watching, listening to the Eye on College Basketball Podcast. If you're not subscribed, please go subscribe anywhere you subscribe to podcasts, including Apple and Spotify. More of us than there are of them. That should be reflected in the comments. So please do that, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Next episode, Michigan State. Can't wait for that one. It's going to be exciting. Bye-bye.